Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be 3 looks with the Beauty Bay Botanical palette. So this is Beauty Bay's newest, just special limited edition palette. I'm going to be doing 3 looks and giving just my first impression review and thoughts on this palette. So if that sounds good to you, if you like palette videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But before we get into the looks, let's just do some swatches and talk about the details of this palette. All right, so let's talk about this palette a little bit. I was on the fence when this palette came out. At first, I thought it was pretty, but I didn't think I needed it. Then I saw some looks and I was really impressed by some of the colors. I thought that they showed up a little bit differently than I was anticipating. So this is a 20 pan palette. Here's what it looks like. I can definitely see the botanical theming. Now, Beauty Bay does do limited edition palettes. So as of now, this palette is available. It retails for $22, but I am a little bit late in filming this, so luck would probably have it that it's going to be out of stock by the time that I post this. So I'm sorry if it is, but I'm still going to share some looks. If you have this palette, maybe it'll inspire you a little bit on the looks, but I'm hoping that it's still in stock by the time this goes up. And I think this is just beautiful. I did already do my 3 looks, so I have my thoughts. I'm going to try not to spoil it too much. I'm going to insert in my swatches really quickly, but like I said, it's 20 shades. You have about an equal split to mattes and shimmers. Let me just see. I actually didn't fully count. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost a half and half split. So you have 9 shimmers and 11 mattes. I think that is perfect. All of the shades are very different. You have none that you would even think are very close to each other. So I very much like that. The first palette that I tried from Beauty Bay was the Reckless Romance. I found it to be a little bit repetitive, but I did really love the formula in that palette. So that's why I wanted to give the Beauty Bay Botanical palette a shot. But I don't want to linger on the details too much because my looks are always a little bit longer and these videos tend to be lengthy. So let's just jump into the first look. All right, so for the first look, I think I'm going to keep it pretty natural, only because I am doing a foundation review right now, so I don't want anything too crazy. I also haven't swatched this palette yet. I'm just not sure what to expect. So I'm going to go in with more of like these brown tones for the first look. This one, maybe even this one or this one. I don't know yet. And then we'll also try some shimmers. It does kind of look like they have 2 shimmer formulas in this palette. Like some of these are a little bit more sparkly and some of them look a little bit more metallic. Anyways, we're just going to get straight into the look, test this out and see what it can do. I'm going to first go in with Lily, which is kind of like a cream shade, and just haphazardly put this in the transition area. It's just going to add a little bit of color, barely, but it's also going to set my lid. I did not use any kind of eye primer. There's just my foundation on my lid and then the translucent powder from where I set my concealer. And since I want this to be a little bit lighter of a look, adding a light color will help mute down those tones just in case they end up being a little bit darker than I'm wanting. So next I'm going to go in with Dune, kind of just like a mid-tone peachy shade. I'll start to carve out my crease. I'm gonna not talk about what I'm doing too much because I tend to kind of stick to the same method. You should know what that looks like by now. And it helps this video not be a million years long if I kind of just do this without talking. Same brush, I'm gonna go into Sea Moss. Just add a little bit of this to the outer corner here. A little bit more pinky, but that's okay. We're going to add kind of like this corally color. And I'm also, while I'm at it, just going to add this to my outer corner. Now for the shimmer, I think I'm gonna try and do 2 just so I can get some use out of as many colors as possible. I'm gonna go into Fall here, and then Savannah right here, and use those 2 just on the outer and inner part of my lid. I'm not going to use any kind of glitter glue. Beauty Bay formula, normally you don't need to. They're a little bit more smooth, but I do just like for the first look, like to test and see how it does just using nothing but the shimmer. Really try and bring that shimmer up a little bit. My friend Bridget told me that I should try that. Help open up my lid. I'm going to use the same brush, just flip it over to apply the fall shade in the outer corner, and I'm just going to kind of go back and forth between those 2 until I like the blend. Now, of course, not wetting my brush or anything, it's not going to be as impactful, but like I said, I kind of just want something softer today. I want to see how soft I can go with this palette. Or then maybe look 2 or look 3, I'll do something a little bit more punchy. Going back in with Sea Moss, I just want to re-intensify that pink salmon shade color just a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and I'm going to take the second shade I used, Dune, to go on the lower lash line, finish that up. Since Savannah is the lightest shade in the palette, I'm going to go in with Lily, that first color that I just laid down, that kind of cream. I'm going to put that in the inner corner first, and then I'm going to put Savannah on top. Just hopefully that'll help make Savannah pop a little bit different from where it was in the inner lid by having kind of a base. I could go in with like my Milk Jumbo stick, but I don't feel like getting up, so this will work just fine. There we go. Adds just a little something. I mean, this is very light. This is definitely what I was going for. I'm gonna just add a little bit of liner, and I'm gonna go in with clay here, not something super deep, but just something a little bit to define my lash line. And I'm just gonna smudge it just a teeny tiny bit. I don't think I'm gonna go on the lower lash line. I just want some definition. Yeah, just like that. All right, so let me go do the other eye off camera, apply some mascara, and I'll be back to show you look number 1. And here is the completed look. My excitement level for this palette just went up like 1,000,000%. I think this is so pretty. I love the shimmers. I love how this turned out. Like, yes, it's not the most exciting, colorful eyeshadow look, but this is a realistic look that I feel like a lot of people would wear. And I think it's impactful, but like, it's like demure. It's pretty, but impactful, and I love it so much. I did tightline with my black eyeliner just a little bit because I can't resist, and added mascara, of course, but that was really about it after that. So now I'm going to send you to look number 2. Time to do my second look with the Botanical palette. Now, I did finally swatch this out, so I know a little bit more what I'm working with here, and I definitely want to do a green look today and play with this waterfall shade. It doesn't look that interesting in the pan, but it is a beautiful duochrome. And I think today I will use a glitter glue just so I can kind of test it out with that. So let me start with Matcha. And I'm just gonna put that all over the lid, I think. Today I'm not wearing any kind of primer, just my foundation, and it's set with my under eye powder, which, like I already mentioned, is listed in the description box. So I'm not gonna make this too green. I want like a hint of green, but I don't want to be wearing a green shirt, green eyeshadow, and just be like super matchy. I want to just pull the green in, but also have an interesting shimmer. That's why I think that waterfall shade will be really nice, because it's kind of like a blue to gold duochrome. And then laying down this matcha shade will just give like a hint. Then I'm gonna go in with Myrtle, which is like that forest green, same brush, and apply that to the outer corner. And that'll give like my pop of green, but I might cover a lot of this green up. This green shade was the shade I was the most nervous about. It swatched the patchiest when I did my swatches, just because it's a little bit darker, but I had a feeling, and I'm right, that it's just a more buildable matte, which is my favorite kind of matte, because I am not skilled enough to go directly in with a ton of pigment and blend it out. I much prefer to build up the intensity that I want. And now I'm just gonna go in with a fluffy brush. I think I'm gonna go back in with Lily, that really light cream, and just diffuse the edges a teeny tiny bit. Like I said, I want to test the shimmers with a glitter glue, so I'm gonna go in with my NYX glitter primer here, place that all over the lid. And I am gonna use Waterfall, but I think also I'm gonna use a little bit of Amazon, which is kind of like this green shade here, it is this green shade here, just on the outer corner. That way I can play with a little bit more of the shimmers. I would say, like, if I was doing this not on camera, I'd probably just go in with Waterfall, but I want to try as many shades as I can in the palette, and that's just not going to be possible. So I'm just going to lightly place that Amazon shade. I mean, very little of it right there. And then flipping the brush over, going in with Waterfall. I'm going to start to swipe that Waterfall shade, and the glitter glue should obviously just help it be more impactful. That's typically what it does. I didn't get any fallout yesterday from any of the shimmers. I normally don't with Beauty Bay shimmers. They're very kind of wet. They have that good binding to them where they're not super textured. And that's what it's looking like on the lid. I don't know if you can see the shift too much, but I love like the hint of gold, and it just brought this look from being like matchy green to a little bit more unique. Gonna bring this up just a little bit. Try to really open my eye, make it look like I have more of a lid than I do, just like that. And then I'm gonna go back in with Matcha, and again, like, kind of just add a little bit more green where I want it peeking through. And make sure I have color where I want. I don't think I'm going to re-intensify the outer green here. I kind of just like it how it is, and I put a green shimmer in the corner, so I think that that's okay. All right, we have the inner corner left to do, which I'm going to go in with Savannah, the shade that I used yesterday. And surprisingly, when I was swatching this, I was surprised that this is the least impressive shimmer in the palette. It really doesn't have the impact that any of the other shimmers do. So if I was impressed with that shimmer yesterday, I can only imagine what the rest of these look like. I'm gonna really just try to press it in there. It's just very light, and light as in color, not light as in impact. So I think just maybe on my skin tone, it's too similar so it doesn't show up. If it was a little bit of a lighter champagne, it would pop more, or if it was darker champagne, it would pop more. Now we have lower lash line. So really, I mean, this is going to be pretty easy here, but I'm going to go in with Myrtle, the dark green, put that on the lower lash line, just a teeny tiny bit, really small amount, like barely anything, might not even pick up. Then I'm gonna go in with Mushroom, which is actually this shade here, and I'm gonna blend it out with that, just again to like not make it overpowering in green. Kind of like that. I like that. And then I'm gonna take that matcha shade and just go along the edges to tie it all together. Okay, I really like this look. I kind of just threw this together, but I think it turned out really pretty, at least like on my complexion. I am going to do the other eye off camera. I'm going to add liner. I normally will add like a shadow liner on my top lid. You probably see me do that in every single look, but I kind of think I want to forego that. So I'm going to do the other eye, my liner and mascara, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. So here is the finished eye look, and I have to say I am fully in love. This is one of my favorite looks that I've done in a really long time. I just love how the waterfall shade that shifts from like blue to gold fades into the green a little bit. I really, really enjoy this. I'm trying to decide, like, am I just getting better at eyeshadow, or is the shimmer doing all the work? And I've decided, I think that's a little bit of both. I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit. But this is the second look. Now I'm going to send you to the third and final look. Now, for this look, I'm thinking I'm going to play kind of in this quadrant. I definitely want to use this shimmer. This quadrant and this quadrant is really the only shades I haven't played with, I'm pretty sure. And this is like more my speed. Don't know if it's going to go with my shirt, but that's okay. I can always change my shirt. So that's what we're going to do. And what can I say? I'm a creature of habit. We're going to go with kind of like the same eye sequence as far as like how I'm doing this. I'm going to start with Dune. Just place that all over the lid. I've kind of been liking that, just because these mattes are so blendable and buildable. It makes it really easy to just kind of layer, especially if you're using like a fluffier brush. Just gives like a nice base. Still no eye primer for this look, only my foundation, and then set it with my concealer powder. See, like, it's not very dark. It doesn't give much of anything, but it gives a little bit of something. Then going in with clay, I'm going to use the same brush, even though it is a little bit bigger than normal. It's wispier, so that way I can really shear out that pigment. Just start to deepen out that outer corner. Just like that. So there's two shimmers for this quadrant, but Quartz is kind of more of like a duochrome purple, and this one, I don't know if these go together. I really wanted to use this Quartz shade, but I'm thinking maybe like stick with Canyon. Do that all over the lid. Maybe I could do that with Fall, like these two. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Let's see. I kind of want to play with it a little bit. I'm not going to use too much of Fall. I was hoping to use one kind of as a topper. I think I'm going to go in mostly with Canyon all over the lid. And I am going to apply a glitter glue. So let's do that. I guess I can kind of think while I'm applying this and just decide how I want to do two shimmers. Because I really like, the second look so much where it kind of faded in. But neither one of those is lighter, I guess. All right, let's just see. I feel like Canyon is gonna look prettier like in the inner part of my lid. So I'm gonna go with that. And let's just see how I feel. It's definitely like brighter. I think I'll still put, I was hoping to put Fall like kind of spotlighted in the center, but I think I'll just still put it in the outer corner. Do like a peachy coral to gold. And then, yeah, I got it. I know. Fade these into each other. And then I'm going to take a smaller brush and go into Oak in that quadrant and deepen up the outer corner even more. That'll go with that Fall shade more and bring a little bit of that warmth where it's not just orange, but not too much because it is a dark shadow, just like that. I'm gonna go back in with Fall. Make sure it's how I want it to be. Okay, that made a huge difference. Yep, I like that. Of course, I'm gonna go in with Lily, the lightest shade. It's just a really nice blending out shade. Just make sure it's nice and diffused. I mean, this was super simple and I feel like it's just really pretty. And the three looks that I got are all very distinct and different. Of course, like this look's not finished yet. I'm gonna go in with Savannah, my inner corner shade. Lower lash line, starting with Clay. I'm gonna add just a little bit of that as close as I can. And then I'm going to blend that out with Dune, which was the shade that I put all over my lid in the beginning. I'm not going to use any of that Oak because I don't like a super smoky lower lash line. Just gives a little bit of something. I think all I'm going to do. Pretty easy, simple. Gonna go do the other eye off camera, like always, mascara, liner, and I'll be back to show you the final look. Here is the third look with the Botanical Garden. I think this is my second favorite look that I did. The second look was my favorite, and then the first look was my third favorite, my least favorite of the three. I did end up taking Oak here and adding a little bit to my upper lash line, and then I tight lined with black, added mascara. That's the only thing I did off camera that you didn't see. But now that I've shown you all three looks, let me scoot you out and we're gonna go over my final thoughts. So for the final thoughts, I think it's no secret, I had so much fun playing with this palette. And I'm really glad that I picked it up. I was on the fence about it at first. I was going back and forth. One day I wanted it. One day I was telling myself I didn't need it. And clearly I just decided to get it. I'm so happy that I did. I don't have a lot of Beauty Bay palettes. I have the Reckless Romance. That was my very first one trying. Then I have the Love Notes, which a friend decluttered to me because that's an older palette. And then this one. This one's hands down is my favorite. The formula is so nice. The mattes are just so buildable. They really start soft and can build up. The shimmers are so impactful, so shifty. They don't look that impactful in the pan, but I'm telling you, on the eyes, there's something else. They really look so beautiful without being like papow, like just super multi-chrome. I think we started to get to a place where shadows had to shift 10 different colors for it to be special. These are only shifting, 2 different shades, and they are spectacular. They're so easy to work with. I got zero fallout with any of the shimmers, so that's a plus. I don't have to worry about whether or not I use a glitter glue, because I did both. I do prefer it with a glitter glue, but I don't have to worry about whether I do my foundation first or second. Either way, this is going to work. It's just a palette I don't have to think about. Now, I have zero cons. I was trying to think of a con. I actually have zero cons. I haven't liked a palette like this in such a long time, or been inspired by a palette in such a long time. I just see so many more looks that I could have done. I did play with most of the colors. I played with all 4 of these, all 4 of these 4. No, I did not use this shimmer or this matte. I didn't use these 3. And I used all of these. So I used about 3/4 of the palette, but I mean, I could use this quadrant for a look. I didn't do a purple look like with this and this shimmer here. I really want to try. I didn't use this dark green shimmer. I could really do like an olive colored look. This one here kind of has like some blue to it that would go really nice with this. I at least see like 4 or 5 other looks that I could do completely different color stories with. I think this has such a nice variety. If this isn't out of stock yet, because I do know that this is limited edition, like I said in the intro, I really recommend picking it up. I don't think you'll regret it. If you like color, but you also like something that's a little bit more neutral, you tend to go for neutrals, but you want to step out of the box, this is a great just gateway palette for that. I am so happy. Like really, really happy with this palette. I can see myself ranking it in the top 3 when I rank all my end of year palettes. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I think I've said all that I've had to say, and my emotions are coming across on screen. So this is where I'm going to leave you all. I would love to know if you picked up this palette or not. If you plan on picking it up, let me know your thoughts. Let me know which look was your favorite. I hope this video was helpful, but this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.